Alright guys, so last night I did a video talking about, like, a Elseworld story that was a Superman Avatar Last Airbender crossover. And I've done this a few times, honestly. I've done this a few times, and this is the more recent version. And I said if there was enough interest, I would do a part 2. Yeah, I would throw out a second part for you guys to check out. Well, you guys definitely had a lot of interest in the first one, so I decided, fuck it, we will do part 2 right now. And yeah, so part 2, if you guys remember from the last night, oof, that is some bright sunlight. If you guys remember from part 1, Cal is I'll just give you a quick recap if you didn't see the first part. This story centers around an Elseworld story where, much like most Superman Elseworld stories, Superman doesn't come to Earth or land somewhere else. Here he lands in the Four Nations, specifically the Fire Nations, and is raised by Iroh as a second son. However, after gaining his powers, he's now known as the Superman of the Fire Nation and is now winning the war for the Fire Nation on a grander level. Iroh has gone with Zuko to look for the Avatar because the banishment thing still happened, even though, I forgot to mention this part, I wanted to have a moment where, like, because Cal, that's what he's called, Prince Kal-El, Cal actually was going to, like, stop Ozai from hurting Zuko, because he'd been raised alongside Zuko, but his father was like, you can't. You just can't. It will destroy him. And he's like, I could just end this with just a flick of my wrist, and he's like, that's just you using your, you'd be no worse than your uncle. So Cal is forced to, under rule of Ozai, his uncle, he's now forced as a weapon of mass destruction against the Water Tribes and the Earth Kingdom. But however, I did forget to mention this, is that Cal will sometimes go see his adopted father, Iroh. And from there, he'll, like, get advice from him and also check in on Zuko, Zuko, since he hasn't met the Avatar yet, he's still, like, this callous asshole. So he's still, like, my father actually speaks to you and sees you more of a son than I do. So he kind of resents Zuko in that regard. So from there, you have Superman, obviously Cal also is battling another major foe, and that's in Ba Sing Se, where Long Feng is kind of our Lex Luthor, because, haha, don't you get it, Clancy Brown voiced Long Feng, and he voiced Luthor. There's also the matter of, in this continuity, Kara Zor-El was found by Brainiac and made into his herald. So now you have a Supergirl Brainiac foe. So that's where we are right now, is that Superman is battling his cousin, who is taken over by Brainiac. Also, Aang hasn't been discovered because, yeah, the Water Tribes, both of them, are kind of getting their shit wrecked. So Aang is nowhere to be found. But don't worry, we'll get to Aang in due time. Don't worry. So from here, Superman and Supergirl are doing battle in the Earth Kingdom, and they are just glassing the entire area. They're out, like, Superman. It's still Superman. That's another thing I forgot to mention. It was late and I was tired. There was some details I forgot to mention. But yeah, it's still Superman. He cares about people's lives, even if they aren't from the Fire Nation. He still cares about their lives, and he still cares about if they'll survive, about them. So during his battle with Supergirl Brainiac, he takes her out of Ba Sing Se, and they battle out. He grabs her and, like, flies off to, like, a desolate area outside of Ba Sing Se, and the two do battle there. So yeah. Also, since Cal hasn't been raised alongside Kara, he doesn't really have any familial connections with him, but he is shocked to see someone like him and as powerful as him. Like, he's generally shocked to see that, because he always thought that he was the only one. He did know that from his uncle, his father always told him, Iroh always told him that he came from a craft from a dying world, and he was the only one. So now he's found another, and also claims to be his cousin. But as the two do battle, Long Feng was, like, overwatching this and seeing, like, he can be beat. And this also leads to him working on a project he's been trying to get the Emperor, the Earth King, into working, signing off on. And it's something, a deep excavation for, like, for different weapons that are said to be deep below in Old Ba Sing Se. It's not just that, the kryptonite weapons, which they can earthbend. They found the Dai Li are actually now using, like, kryptonite-encrusted weaponry to combat Superman. But they think they found a few other things as well. So getting back to the battle at hand is that Superman does stop Supergirl and does take her out. Like, that's the thing, he does take her out, but it's more like, I didn't want to do this, but you left me no choice. And Brainiac out, but now Brainiac knows where the Four Nations is, so now he's coming. So yeah, Brainiac is on his way. It's not only that, is that Brainiac is also, going to be looking for someone new to take Kara's place as his, like, herald. Now, the other thing going on is that Long Fang has found the weapon he's heard about from, like, rumors and myths, and it was basically a legend. The legend of what destroyed Old Ba Sing Se. See, Old Ba Sing Se in this story was said to be like a very militaristic land, but also very spiritual. It was very run by military and magic, and they tried to combine military might with magic might. And the original Earth King wanted great power and wanted to be like what the Fire Nation is now. So what happened is that the Earth King bonded his soul to, like, dark spirits, and hence where all these crystals came from, and destroyed and brought the Earth King, the original Earth Kingdom, the original Ba Sing Se, buried it and destroyed it, and led the survivors to build a new one. And yeah, when Long Fang finds it, he's like, this will be the prince's doomsday. So yes, this is this version's doomsday. But when they free him, this doomsday is different, because it's not some mindless monster. This is the original Earth King, and he's actually intelligent. So how it came to be is that the Avatar buried Doomsday in, the Emperor Doomsday, and encased him in those rocks. So now he's free, and there's no Avatar to stop him. And yeah, also this Doomsday has, like, spikes that are now kryptonite encrusted into it, like, bonded into it, so he's way more powerful. Smart Doomsday with kryptonite. Yep, this is only gonna go oh so well for Cal, am I right? And yeah, on top of that, Brainiac is looking for a new host, and his drones discover someone new, and that new person is Azula, who has been kind of out of it because Azula has been kind of kept at home and being groomed as the heir apparent to being the next Fire Lord. What happens, however, is that Brainiac reaches out to her and is like, I can give you all this if you serve me, and I can give you the stars. Like, he plays to her human emotion, and she's like, awesome. So we now have our own. So Azula becomes our version of the cyborg. She becomes the cyborg Supergirl. So, because what Brainiac does is take the DNA he extrapolated from Kara when he had her under his control. He takes her and bonds it to her and makes her the, like, cyborg Superman. So that's how we get Hank Henshaw here. So for reiteration, we have Doomsday, Cyborg Superman, and Brainiac. Meanwhile, Superman is like, yeah, I need to go heal in the sun for a bit. And that's when the spirits reach out. And what happens in here is that the spirits are reaching out to him and being like, you have caused, like, a major imbalance in this world, and it's only going to get worse. And he's like, well, I can save everyone, I can, do so much, but, it's in the for the Fire Nation. And the spirits are like, and the spirit turns out to be Avatar Roku, and he's like, that's bullshit. What you need to do is free the Avatar. That's the only way you can bring balance. You can bring official balance, because you have unleashed all these dark forces that are going to be devastating the world. And sure enough, Superman finds out that Doomsday is free and is like taken over is taken over the Earth Kingdom, killed Long Fang. Brainiac is on his way, and Azula is just devastating the Fire Nation and already killed Ozai. So he's like, what do I need to do? And Roku explains the only way you can stop this is if you save the Avatar. But he's buried deep in the ice, and he was. You got to pull him out. So Cal goes and frees him, but the problem is that Cal has, Aang was in there too long. And he's in this continuity. He's just dead. Like, Aang is dead. So Cal doesn't know what to do, and Roku is like, there might be a way to do this. So Cal, Roku explains for Cal to come to the spirit world, and what happens is that in order for Aang to live, Cal must sacrifice his energy and give it to Aang. And that's what happens. But before he does, Cal astral projects himself to go see Iroh, his father, in this timeline, and speak to him and tell him hey, I gotta do this. The world is gonna end if I don't stop this. There's a way to stop this, but I have to give my life for it. And I'm sorry you have to lose another son. And he's like, Iroh's hurt by that, but he understands it's his duty and it is his honor. And Cal tells him, you still have another son. He refers to Zuko. So there you go. So Superman sacrifices himself, gives his energy, his life force to Aang. But that had a twist, because here Aang not only has the power of the Avatar, he also has all the power of Superman. So Aang is now the Superman of the Four Nations, and as he's being as Cal is dying from the transfer, he tells Aang be their hope, you can be what I could never be, and you could be this world's champion. You can be their hope. You can be so much for them. This world is fractured, and it's been fractured because of what I unleashed and what is coming. So you can do all of that. You can do everything I could have done, and you could unite the world. He basically gives the Jor-El speech, where it's they're great people. They wish to be, but one day they'll join you in the sun. So he gives them the Jor-El speech. And then Cal dies, and now Aang, now supercharged with the powers of Superman and can bend all the elements, blasts out and just goes to work. Because he's already I have all this new power. I am gonna wreck what comes next. So the first thing that comes to mind is he takes down Azula. He's already gonna take out He already, it don't matter if Shozen's comment or not, he's going to take Azula out first, who's already, using Brainiac's technology to make cyborg versions of the Fire Nation soldiers and assimilating them for the coming of Brainiac. And Aang flies in, just blasts in, they fight, him and Azula fight, he takes her out, then goes to Ba Sing Se to fight Doomsday. And Doomsday was oh yeah, he thinks that this is Cal he's going to fight. So he thinks the kryptonite weakness is going to work. It does not. And since he has added power, of the Four Nations and the bending the four elements, and you're probably wondering, well, does he need to train it? Nope. He's already supercharged with the Superman energy. So, and also, if you're wondering how that works, it's Elseworld. Shut up. That's all I can really say is it's Elseworld. Shut up. So Aang, now with all of that, and that's when when Doomsday realizes, oh shit, this is the Avatar, the guy who beat me the first time. They fight, Doomsday's taken out, and then he goes to fight Brainiac. And with everything Aang has, he just blasts through Brainiac's ship and destroys it. So he literally finishes everything that's all these trials and tribulations that Superman had inadvertently unleashed, and corrected it. So now the four nations can be rebuilt with Iroh taking over as the Fire Lord in here, because Zuko Zuko still hasn't gone through his great journey yet. His great character arc yet. But hopefully, but he is named heir, so he'll learn from Iroh. And the four nation, Iroh stops the 100-Year War, and the four nations are starting to rebuild together with Aang now as the Superman of the four nations. During this, when he's Aang actually builds like a Fortress of Solitude in the South Pole and makes it look like the one from Superman the movie, and from there, that's actually where he meets Sokka and Katara, who want to see him, and that's where the story ends. So there you go, guys. The absolutely bonkers second part to the Superman of the Fire Nation. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.